The trap in seeking validation. Here's my dear track. I think in my last video I said I will share more light on this validation topic. Let's go. So before I dive more into this, I need to take note of 4 things that have to do with validation. And one is the shift, the instability, the illusion validation creates, and losing yourself. These are 4 keys that has to do with validation. First off, I want you to know that seeking validation is not wrong. And we as humans are wired for receiving validation. Validation is simply feedback. And from childhood, if someone should nod at us, someone should smile, someone should give us a thumb up, it is simply passing a message that we are basically doing the right thing or we are on track. So seeking some level of validation as humans is very normal. But the trap begins when validation stops being information and start becoming a fuel that is something that drives us to do something. You know one thing, when you depend on validation, your decisions quietly shift. You stop asking yourself, do I believe in this? And you start asking yourself, will these people like this thing I'm trying to do? You know, that small switch is very powerful because it slowly handles the control of your life into the hands of an invisible audience. And then you realize that you are no longer moving based on your values. You are now performing based on approval. You know, validation feels like support, but sometimes it is actually control. You know, sometimes you think you are building confidence, but in real time, you are actually borrowing the confidence from other people. Just like what I said earlier about when you want to perform, you ask yourself, if I truly believe in this, and what will people say about this? So now, if you constantly wait for what they say, you are no longer building the confidence of if you truly believe in what you are doing. But now you start building the confidence of the validation they give when you decide if they will like it or not. I don't know if that makes sense. So when you start asking, will people like this? That is no longer growth though. It is performance. What I just explained now is the shift. So I'm moving now into the instability of validation. You know, I want you to know that people are inconsistent. Today they might clap for you and tomorrow they ignore you. So if your confidence depends on them, your self-worth becomes unstable. Your self-confidence will be up when they praise you, and then it will go down when they don't praise you. And you see the effects. So my third point here is illusion. Validation rewards what is visible and not always what is valuable. The loud is what gets the attention, but the real work is usually quiet. So if you choose validation, you might abandon what actually matters. This takes us to our next point, which is losing yourself. And this part is very dangerous. You start changing yourself to be liked, and little by little, you stop being you and start becoming what people will respond to. But the real shift will start when you stop seeking the validation and start using it as information itself. Because the moment you don't need approval, that is the moment you actually take control. Validation should be a byproduct and not a requirement. To be able to do things that align with your standards, with your values, with your goals, with your belief. If people recognize it, fine. And if they don't, the work still stands. And that is where stability comes from. If you notice yourself constantly checking reaction, you are constantly overthinking how people perceive you, or you are feeling low when there is no feedback, that is usually a sign that you are drifting into the trap. So one of the quiet power is learning to validate your own effort first before receiving validation from others. And when I say validating yourself first, means honest validation to yourself. And when you validate yourself first, you know when you showed up, you know when you improve, and you do not need a crowd to validate that for you. So when you stop chasing validation, you actually become more grounded, you actually become more respected. Not because you never asked for it, but because you stopped chasing it. I hope this helps. I'll see you on the next track. Bye.